bona bahle mhlambe ngokubuka but
from Great Britain running into the lake.
I think on the show as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Queen of Maritzburg.
see Mr. Choi TV. Yeah, actually, thank you.
About that. Me, I think relationships are wonderful. My friend even said the other time that she thinks I'm a better person when I'm in a relationship.
None of them are going to. I don't think I'm probably dead as far as that concerned. I'm joking. I wouldn't go that far. But
because every relationship is a lesson, and every relationship teaches you about yourself. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out in these past relationships, as I said, that I fell in love with. What was the point of that? But hi, it's Sips.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am Bonga, and you are listening to and watching
the Unintentional Podcast. And today we're here with Siphokazi. Thank you so much for joining us again, should I say. But welcome to Unintentional Podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, great to have you again. So we met some time ago, at the Da Vinci Connect Art Week,
yes,
where you were showcasing some of your films. I think that's where I first met you and saw your work for the first time, and I was quite happy and impressed with all that. And yeah, I'm just excited to have you again, just on the show.
So you do filmmaking.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about what is filmmaking?
So filmmaking is basically creating and showing visually. So it consists of cameras, sound, lighting, and filmmaking can go from, it doesn't have to just be film, but you can record whatever, podcasts, shows, reality shows, but it all falls under filmmaking, which is basically the capturing of moments, I could say.
And what got you interested in doing filmmaking?
So I was a very curious person. I am a very curious person. And for the longest time, funny enough, I always thought that I'd be in front of the camera because I studied drama and I've been on stage from preschool to primary and high school until I discovered behind the scenes, which was around grade 11. And this was because of, like I said, my curiosity. Like I was watching a movie, I can't even remember what movie it was, but I saw a scene where a car was on fire, just, yakuma. So I was like, how did they do that? Did it actually happen? And I actually wanted to find out. And then I remembered, there are cameras behind, and wanting to understand the intricate details, would see how did you get to this point. So it was basically from Tandindab, and just being interested and intrigued by what's beyond what we see, So so in high school I did physics, I did bio and drama, and that's what I basically thrived in. And I got a bit confused after matric because I did science, and which I didn't pass also. But because I had that, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I then took a gap year to try and understand and find out and just find my feet. And then I got a job. I was a business consultant for a couple of years, but I wasn't happy. I was definitely not happy because I told myself I would never be stuck in an office the whole day for the rest of my life. But gay life yati, what's so chingies, you know. But I worked there for a couple of years, I think about 4 or 5 years. And then I made a decision to actually leave my job and go to school. So Creative Arts College, that's in Victoria Road, had just recently opened. So Benqalo ukubona into kanjalo in Maritzburg, because we all know after that's in Durban, Cape Town and Joburg. So if there's an art school in Maritzburg, I was like, oh, okay, this just came at the right time, because I was done. Like I couldn't take it anymore. So I applied, I got accepted so I studied film and TV production, because I was also interested in directing and writing and producing as well.
And how did your family take your decision to now quit your job and start a whole new direction?
At first, because my dad had gotten me the job, at first they were skeptical, because what is film? When you mention drama, kwabazali, it's like kanjani, you have to have like you know, omunyum sebens, because they didn't understand. But eventually, when I was in school and they saw the pracs that we had, they actually saw it's okay, I'm actually very passionate in this and I actually love it, and gachengis kumina also, and nakhona babuyele mumva ukuthi actually vele sikwazi as a person othanda into kanje, you know. So my mom eventually gave in, and she was the first person nje wangithengela my very first camera. So I was like, okay, I see ukuthi, you know, she's getting yatamba, and they eventually accepted it, and from then they're like, okay, we didn't think it was an actual thing, seeing where I am today.
And how has that growth been, you know, from Pietermaritzburg? I'm sure there's not a lot of filmmakers here. Can you tell us about your journey, your experience here in Pietermaritzburg? And I know you did some things in other places as well. Yeah,
so going back to school, deciding, okay, I'm going to go back to school, I had a whole plan. So I was like, okay, if I'm leaving this job, well-paying job, and going to sit in front of a desk, go behind a desk, what's my plan? So it was a 3-year course, and that's okay. First year, I'm going to learn the basics and understand what this whole film and TV production thing is. And then second year, I started to do my research basically, and see what's okay. Since I decided to do this course, and then I started to do my research, and that's when I discovered so many productions. Okay, actually, and ngibuke their stuff, ngibuke like stuff on TV, because there's just so many productions in the country, but people are exposed to the ones that are on camera, on TV, you know. People are doing commercials, like there are other things that are happening. So second year, I did my research. Third year, that's when I started applying, because I was like, okay, Pumala, I need to work. So because I wanted to prove myself as well. Go see what I was doing was legit. So third year, I started applying towards the end of the year. And also what I could say Hlampe helped during that whole time with the pracs that we were doing. So we had to shoot a short film, we had to do a PSA and adverts, and okay, actually I love what I'm doing. Like I love this and I can literally do it for the rest of my life. So with all of those things, and like I mentioned, my mom bought me a camera. So I started to take pictures, like do photo shoots, started with my friends and family until they advertised me to their friends and family, and they started booking me. I'm like, okay, it's getting serious. And I just started exploring with the video settings also. So I was like, okay, actually this camera's not quite bad, because it was a Canon 200D, so it wasn't bad. And my mom told me she specifically bought it because of the video quality that time. So started shooting, and then banqasha for imcimbi, for omembeso, imshado, birthday parties, and I then became a videographer.
Okay.
And I was a resident videographer at Spritz Premium Lounge in Scottsville. So I worked there for a while. So babeng biza when they have events or like any promos or whatever. So I worked there for a while, and during Lesos Kati also I was doing my own thing on the side, which was intenga, you know, qinisa my skills.
Yes.
So that's when I started doing short films with a group that's called That Media Movement.
Okay.
So it consisted of people that we were with at Creative Arts and others that were just interested in behind the scenes. So with that, we specifically made it that way because it was two of us, a guy named Uspe Zondi, sahlala together, and it was during lockdown. Because I'm a gigs and everything was basically closed.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, so what can we do? Because as well as with pants, like we have the equipment, we have everything. So what can we do? So I in the car for hours and hours and hours and brainstormed until we agreed, it's okay, let's create a team and just do our thing in the meantime so that we don't lose our minds. So sahlangana and we're like, okay, fine. So I wrote some short films. So we started off with 1 minute films to tell a story in a minute.
Okay.
So we did that. It went well. We got like great reception from the audience because Nakona Foot we hadn't seen anything Iganjalo, so we didn't know if people would receive it the way we wanted them to. So we did short films. And I never stopped. Like I never stopped. I'm also in the process of creating more. So yeah, it's been a journey, but a great one.
And where did you post the videos, the 1 minute videos and stuff that you guys did?
So because it was all self-funded and it was during lockdown, we considered the fact that Abantu. So another reason why we did 1 minute films was because we also didn't have like a platform which is channel and just to challenge ourselves with telling a story in a minute. And Sibonutso poster, we're like, okay, what are we going to do? So side poster, our platform basically what we have now is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But most of the stuff are on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Interesting.
And can you tell us a bit? I remember you spoke about working with Umandla N.
Yes. yes. I worked with Umandla N, Black Brain Productions. Yeah, that experience was interesting because it was my very first ever job in the industry. And it was crazy how I even got the job. I literally DM'd him and I told him on Instagram and I told him who I was and what I do. And I sent him links to the films that we were shooting. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. Let's give you a shot. So at first, the only space that was open was in the production office.
Okay.
So he called me. We got on an interview, Zoom meeting with the producers. They told me that the spot that's open is for, I think, a production coordinator or something like that. And I thought the interview didn't go well because I didn't get the job.
Okay.
So I was like, how? But I felt like everything was going. We were gelling, you know. But they were like, no, we'll call you.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, sure. You know. But a couple of months later, I think it was 2 months later, I got a call from them saying there's a new production. It was a show on Sansi Magic called Ivulaval.
Okay.
So that was in production. They're like, okay, let's get you on, you know, the show. I was like, oh, great. Watsumandla, the reason why he didn't want me in that position was because he saw that I was passionate in directing, and if I'd taken or if they'd given me that job, I would have dreaded coming to work every day. So while biggest would actually come and be an assistant director for the show. So that was the greatest thing for me, because every day with the stuff that Black Brain has done, I'd watch TV and be like, oh, that's my boss. That's my, you know, that's where I'm going to work. You know, it's something that that was constantly in my mouth, and I could say I manifested it also, you know. So it was it was crazy. It was crazy.
And I'm sure also during the time when you're younger, deciding what to do at varsity, you know, you might have thought to yourself, hey, you know, this is what I was doing this for. Like maybe some others, my parents might have had doubts or my friends might have had doubts, but this is actually something that's lucrative, you know. Yeah.
So it was such a relief to actually get a first job from a production company that is like well recognized, you know. So that for me, I was like, okay, cool. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. You're on the right track. And that was just like confirmation from God and the universe. What we put in Izonyako was for a reason. You were just interested in it, or you know. Nakona Foots, with the experience there, it got very tricky because I started off as an intern, so nakona futhi adjusting to this big set with this big equipment and abantu telling people what to do, and yabo nje konke lokho, clashing with different personalities, yabo. But nakona futhi umandla was always on my side, and it's like, no, don't worry, Vele, this is what it comes with. When nje you don't have to, you know, ube subtle all the time, because mosuka la uzoba I director and angeke uzokwazi ukuthi, oh, I'm sorry, and be all, you know, just stand your ground and know what you're doing, and abantu bakuhloniphe because of your work, because wenza kahle umsebenzi wakho, because you're mean or anything like that, but your work will speak for you. So Leo iyona nje that keeps, you know, pushing me till this day.
So it's carried you through all your other experiences.
Definitely.
Okay. I saw, I don't know if it was a stage production that you were involved in.
Oh yes, theatre.
It
was in theatre. Yeah, also theatre is my first love. Since I mentioned also that I did drama. Yes. So I was working at the Hilton Arts Festival. Okay. So I was a stage manager there. So I've done it twice. I did it last year. Last year was my first time. Yes. And I came back again this year. Which is amazing. It was amazing. That is something that I also do every day. Okay. I love it, yeah.
And how was the difference between, you know, working on set and then now working as a stage production manager?
It's different because on set I'm always on my feet. I'm always doing something. I'm always, you know, and a show will go on for hours and hours, and you have to sit there, yes, and, you know, facilitate what is going well, but there's a lot of chilling behind the stage, but also making sure that lighting is going well, sound is still going well, but it's very different. It's very different from what I'm normally used to.
And which one would you say you're more passionate about, or you see yourself maybe doing for the long run?
Being on set and directing, because with theatre, umuntu ufike seyazi ukuthi wenzani, you know, and thina nje we're just there to make sure ukuthi the show is going on well. But with directing, I get to interact with the crew, I get to interact with the actors, I get to write, you know, I get to be part of the whole process. So definitely directing.
Okay. And, you know, some of your films that we saw on YouTube, what was the inspiration behind that? You know, there were love stories and stories of heartbreak and...
Yeah, so I'm a lover of love. I love love, and it's basically because ngikhuliswe ngothando. I've been surrounded by love my whole life, my family, my friends, and that is a huge inspiration for me. So nalapho futhi, with seeing this feeling and experiencing this feeling, I was like, what is this? You know, because curious, like I'd like to. I'm an overthinker, but overthinking yami ngakwazi ukuyifundisa ukuthi ngingayisebenzisi, you know, for mhlawumbe detrimental or anything like that. But I understood what it was, and I was like, I like to think of things in 100 ways, you know, but I don't let it like consume me or, you know, overwhelm me. So with love also, that's something that's very interesting for me. I'm just like, okay, you meet a stranger and you connect, let's connect to Sayo. Why am I trusting you with my whole life, you know? So it's something that's very, you know, like, okay, but that's something that I really dig deep into, and the fact that you can feel it and experience it, loco for me is like, okay, like any other emotion, but love is the whole point, you know, for living. You know, God is love at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about some of the films. In Lalifa and My Childhood Sweater are the ones that really stand out, like that you also showcased at the Da Vinci Connect Art Week. How did you put together the team that created that? Because you were the director of it, but of course you had to have actors, you had to have a location, you had to have equipment and so on. So how did both projects come about?
So Uspe and I created a team. Like I mentioned, there were people that we went to creative arts with, and abanye kade singafundi nabo. So we just believed ukuthi umuntu uyakwazi ukumtshengisa. It's like school. You have to teach someone or funde to acquire a certain skill. So sahlanganisa a team of people that actually studied and people that didn't study but have the skill to actually do it. So and it's such a great balance. It's people that share the same passion. It's people that have the same vision. So yeah, that's how we came about it. And with the actors also, it's people that mainly people I went to college with. And with my favorite sweater, Ruth, I met her I think on social media. And that's how we managed to pull that off. But it's like networking also, and just connecting with other creatives.
Social media has been like a big thing in your life.
Definitely, I truly believe in social media. Like nakona futhi, I don't like social media, but nakona I use it to my advantage. Boguti, like monga suvuli social media yamje. When I first got Instagram, I had a whole lot of influencers and celebrities, and that time also the whole pressures of I'm blessed, I'm going to go to Dubai and having a fancy and lavish life. And I was like, this thing is not, growing me anyhow. I'm just like sabawelling the whole time, like, oh, must be nice. And so I was like, actually, you know what, Gandhi, what is this? Overthinking again. What is social media? What is it for? Why do we have it? So I unfollowed a whole bunch of people and started following creatives. I followed production companies, I followed directors, I followed producers as well. So, and that's where I've gotten most of my jobs. So yeah, social media has definitely played a huge role in my life and still is gonna, I believe.
And in terms of making more films or any productions lately, what are you working on?
So currently I am in production for a show that is very dear to my heart. I started planning, or I had this idea back in college, which was probably 4 years ago. And it's a show that was inspired by, it's a show about friendship. Which is another form of love, because I believe love, you can experience it in different ways. So it's a show about friendship. I'll talk about it because we're probably going to release it soon. So it's a show about friendship where I basically interview different types of friendship. So what inspired the show was my grandfather. So Mkulwami had a friend ababe vakashelana naye every day, every single day, and they were old and wrinkly and baphelezelana. I'm like, what are these men talking about the whole entire day? I wanted to find out yini le bahlanganisayo, yini that has kept them, what are they day-to-day conversations, and I actually wanted to interview them. But procrastination, life got in the way until I lost my grandfather. And I was like, oh, damn, and so make sure I was like, hey, okay, you know what, procrastination, I sees, if I have something, a plan to or let me just get up and do it. And 4 years later, I feel like I'm ready. I've done all my research. I've put my all into it, and it's going so well. The people, because even with Uwe Advertiser, we put out a poster. So I type everything. I write everything down. Everything has to be in order so that I know what I'm doing. To declutter everything and declutter my mind. So even with the planning of the show, ngenza treatments, from the
Yes.
treatments, ngabheka locations, yonke into, and the guests, the type of guests that I wanted. So kuyona, so we've got toddlers. So we've interviewed 6-year-olds to understand that friendship and what friendship means to them. And we've gotten sisters on the show that are young ladies.
Okay.
We've gotten twins,
Oh wow.
because that's also another form of friendship. We've gotten teenagers, also like a group of friends. We've gotten guys also, which is like Tlambanawa, like older generation of
Okay.
guys. So ukuhlanganisa nje labo bantu, because ngifuna uku-understand what's common
Yeah.
kubona bonke, and yini le ebabambayo, you know, and the conclusion that I've gotten so far, because we've shot about 8 episodes and we're actually editing now, because as edit, and we're 8 episodes in and we still have 7 other guests also. So we're just like, okay, let's just tank 10
Okay.
and get our lives in order and sort things out before it gets overwhelming. So we're in the process of editing now, and it's coming out so beautifully. Like every day on set, I hold tears back because I'm like, what is this? Like, it's something I never imagined. It's beyond what I imagined.
And how long are the episodes?
They're gonna be about 15 minutes. 15.
And on which platforms will they
We're
be?
going to post on social media. So it's a web series.
Okay.
So we're going to post on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok also, because that's also another thing that's,
Yeah,
you
very
know,
popular.
thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of audience there. So those are our platforms so far.
And then in terms of the conversation, is someone facilitating the conversation, or is it just like, tell us about your friendship?
I don't want to get into it. I want you to see.
Okay.
I want you to see. I made that very interesting. I
Okay,
made that
it's just that I just wanted to know, like, in the end, will there be some commentary on all of the episodes together, or is it just like one complete flowing thing?
So it's different episodes with different people.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Okay, it's
I don't want to
fine.
give it away. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. But
Okay.
you'll see. We'll have a whole screening. We'll invite people.
Please
Yeah.
invite us.
Of course, we'll be broadcasting live.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then in terms of future productions, I know you work on this one. How long do you expect it to take you to roll out all the episodes?
Probably till the end of the year, hopefully before that, because there's still so many other things that I still want to shoot, and this is consuming all my time, you know, and nabo futhi the team, but okay, I was shooting because there's another film that is basically done.
Yeah.
I just need to get like cast and just confirm locations. Now, but they're like, okay, we're ready for the film. I'm like, okay, you know, because logo is already a lot. Let's just finish this one and then we'll hop on to the next one. But now, Kona Futsi, I want to actually start, at least look for locations, because Makaya, and it's a whole different, you know. So with the show Ling Gigion's called Yes, We're Chums. Yeah, I think before Sigba Manch, September. By November, we should be good. We should be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then are you thinking of relocating anywhere like Joburg, or is it just PMB?
I would love to go back to Joburg or Cape Town, wherever. I love traveling. But with what I'm doing currently, I specifically wanted to be Pietermaritzburg based because I strongly believe in the talent. We're surrounded by so many creatives. Maritzburg has a lot of talented people, and there hasn't been a platform for us as creatives in Maritzburg. So I took a risk, and I am creating a platform for creatives by creating, and with the shows that I'm doing as well. I want to include Abanye because there's another show also where I want to interview creatives as well and make it specifically for that, to showcase ukuthi abanye abantu bayakwazi ukupenda, bayakwazi ukucula, bayakwazi uku-acta, because it's not just about being in front of the camera and acting. There's so many other things, abantu ama-gifts abanawo, and they have to be shown. And with my production company, I'm just praying to God ukuthi iyakhula to a point where abantu baphila off of it. Because I believe ukuthi siya deserve ukuthi si live off our gifts, as benefits ama gifts set. It's not ukuthi just for vibes, so God willing, and I truly believe ukuthi kuzowenzeka, sizoqhubeka nje kube, because my whole aim and vision is to get people from Joburg, Cape Town, Durban, everywhere to come to Maritzburg. How we decide what's okay, so yangale. So I'm bringing them here. And what's great is that with the other productions I've worked with in Joburg, bayang fonela if they have to shoot in Durban, bayang fonela but Siphokazi, here's a brief, shoot this for us, we'll give you all the budget, handle it, so that they don't have to come here. So they trust me with that. So I'm like, okay, get my team as a Maritzburg. I'm like, let's go, because we've been doing passion projects most of the time. So must second gena like a proper corporate gig or an actual film or like a campaign that we have to shoot. I'm like, okay, great, let's do it.
So your production company, is it still that media, or is it something
I have
else
my
now?
personal production company called Rainbow Films. So that's the company I've been operating from.
And what advice would you give to filmmakers or upcoming people who are thinking of going into filmmaking?
Do it. Do it. What I love about the film space is that it's so broad. It's got so many departments. There's lighting departments, there's scripts department, there's makeup, there's wardrobe, there's sound, there's directing, there's producing. So I would definitely advise umuntu who's interested in anything, Jegwi TV or film, to study film and TV and understand wonke ama departments, because what I loved about creative arts was ukuthi basifundisile wonke ama departments and kukwena ukuthi yiphi wena that you connected with. So I would definitely recommend, and nokuthi nje, if you have a camera, or not even a camera, a phone, shoot with your phone. And my phone manje have crazy camera features. There are crazy editing apps that you can use. Do it, start creating, like mone idea yenze shoota abangani bakho, shoota wena, just create, like until, like, also networking as well. Networking is very important, because that's where you gain connections, that's where you see your next clients, that's where you connect with talent, so networking, just doing it, just going for it.
No, that was awesome. You've covered like the full spectrum of everything that you do, and I was so happy to listen to you talk about your filmmaking, and even the transition from doing passion projects to actually now trying to make an income and make a living out of this, and we could see that change. I mean, we've spoken before. We met at the Art Week. We did meet for the previous shoot, the recording rather of the podcast, and now we meet again, and there's been growth in that, and especially with your mindset and what you do. So to that I say, firstly, thank you for coming on the show, being with us.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing more of your stuff, because the little short clips that you showed of the show that you're working on currently on your Instagram has got me excited. So I can't wait for that to come out, and all the best with that.
Thank you.
That's all on my side.
Thank you.
Just to close this off, can you tell us where people can find you on your social media handles?
So you can find me on Instagram at Siphokazi. It's Siphokazi Khumalo Mthembu, and my handle is at Miss Po. It's MS_SPHOW on Instagram. And Facebook, it's Siphokazi Khumalo Mthembu.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to add something also. I just want to add that seeing or being invited to a platform like this is, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Earlier on I was like, I'm so anxious and nervous because this is huge. This is huge, and what you guys are doing is very commendable, and I applaud you for even doing this, because so if kukona people that are in the same space and doing the same thing. I love that, and also I believe in collaboration than
Definitely.
competition.
Yeah,
you know, because if it's hlanganisa makhandethu,
yeah.
what
So
magic
Puma
can they
something.
come, you know, that can come out from that. So I really love your show. I support your show, and
Thank
it is
you.
great, and it gives us creatives a platform. You are creating a platform for us as well, so I really appreciate that. Thank you for
Thank
having me
you.
on the show.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching and listening to Unintentional Podcast. Remember to catch us on all social media at Unintentional Podcast, and always stay kind.
For me, this has taught me a lot as well. I think that going forward, I would like to have a dating space because I feel like in my past I've just jumped into relationships. And if you have any questions, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask the usual question.
Sure, go ahead.
Are you guys secretly dating?
I'm joking. I'm joking. No. It's a good one though. No, we're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah,